it was my dad's birthday. So my mom was like, okay, well, we'll go get your dad a present at Target. And we were in the music section looking for CDs. And I saw Avril Lavigne. And I was like, we need to get my dad this CD. He needs this
He'll
CD
love this.
right here.
This podcast is about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now.
Bring it.
Cool. Your videos are so good. I think I watched one when you were like 15 and
Oh my God.
look at the moon, and I'm like, my mind is blown. You're such a good guitar player.
Oh, thank you. That was the video that started everything too.
Was it really? Okay, well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
First off, tell me where you're born in Connecticut?
I am hoping to visit soon, but yep, Connecticut, and then I moved to New York City after, and then now Los Angeles.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you're in LA now. Rad.
Yeah.
So born and raised in Connecticut.
Yep.
Okay, tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, Connecticut was actually really good. I think when I lived in Connecticut, I actually played more live shows than I ever did anywhere else.
Interesting.
Yeah, I started out in a little kid band actually when I was 10 years old as just a singer. And then, I had a little studio I took lessons at, and they had a program called Rock Band Jam that put a student from each instrument together and they coached us as a band. Yes, that was the best way to get started. So we would have rehearsals twice a week. We'd have shows once a month. And then later on, I joined a cover band when I was 17. I was not old enough to get into any of the bars that we played every single weekend. So my parents would come with me, and I had giant X's on my hands.
Big X's.
Yep, the don't serve alcohol to this child X.
Right.
So I literally had live shows with a band every single weekend for how long did I do that? Like a year or two. It was amazing. And then I moved to New York shortly after to do my own music. It was great. I did a lot of recording and did a lot of shows for other people, and then some shows for myself as well. Okay. And then Los Angeles was amazing. That's when I booked my first wild, crazy tours. And those were mainly just as a guitar player for other touring bands, which was such a great experience. But I am so thrilled to just be fully immersed in my own music now.
Amazing. Well, how did you get into music? I mean, 10 years old, already put into a rock band. Were your parents musicians at all, or?
No. So I think I became a musician by complete accident.
Okay.
I was in gymnastics summer camp because I was obsessed with gymnastics. You could not keep me from attempting wild, crazy flips in the backyard. So my parents were just like, just stick her in gymnastics, give her a helmet, and save us all. So,
that's awesome. My son is in gymnastics. We just took him to, my wife dropped him off about an hour ago. He's been doing in this gymnastics camp all week.
Amazing.
He loves it. Like trampolines and, like bars and everything to like kind of get his energy out, but he loves it.
Man, I swear gymnastics is like parkour paradise for us. Wild crazies.
I know. I wish I was in it as a kid, just thinking of like, oh my gosh, I wish I could jump on trampolines and do all this cool stuff as a kid. My parents didn't do that for me, but we threw him in gymnastics. He loves it.
Oh, that's amazing. And when you're that young, you're not afraid either. It's like, you want to try a backflip off of a balance beam? Sure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's no fear, fear, which scares me, but.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised my dad didn't give me like a helmet or something.
Right. So very young, you were doing gymnastics and.
Yeah. So I was actually on the balance beam. Which is my least favorite gymnastics equipment, by the way. I was always a bars fan. So I was on the balance beam, probably saying, I wish I was on the bars. And then Avril Lavigne came on the radio. And I honestly don't even remember listening to the radio much. I know my parents played music, but like it never resonated. I never noticed anything. Mm-hmm. And then I heard this song. It was Complicated. And I don't know. I just perked up and was just like enamored by this song. I think I actually jumped off the balance beam and just sat there staring at the ceiling or something.
Like, where's the speaker?
Exactly. People were probably like, what is her problem? But I was fully in it. And that song kept coming on too. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was home probably trying to watch some cartoon, and I was flipping and I saw a little snippet of Avril Lavigne on TV. And I was like, oh my God, that's that song. And it was, of course, it was like at the very end of the song. Sure. So she, she went away and I was like, all right, I'm going back to Rugrats now. And it was my dad's birthday. So my mom was like, okay, well, we'll go get your dad a present at Target. And we were in the music section looking for CDs. And I saw Avril Lavigne and I was like, we need to get my dad this CD.
He'll love this.
Right. So yeah, I got myself Avril Lavigne for my dad's birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was over. I wanted to be her, not like her. Literally her. People had to call me Avril or else they would not hear the end of it.
Oh, wow. You're like, I'm not Ariel anymore. I'm Avril.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just started wanting to be her. I realized I actually did have a talent for singing. So my mom would stuck me in voice lessons. And that's how the whole band situation started. And I kind of fell into guitar too. I saw Avril holding a guitar, so I knew it was okay.
It was all right. It was okay with her.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It's Avril approved. And my dad was like, cool, I'll show you some chords. So
he plays a little bit.
Yeah, he knew all the chords. He had fun jamming on it, but I don't have like actual like professional musicians in the family. Just,
right.
We had music equipment, which was great. And yeah, I just fell in love with guitar. So my first time really playing guitar, I was already in a band. So I had to sing and play guitar from day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you find, real quick, how did you find that your parents just found this music like camp type thing? I mean, that sounds like the coolest thing I've ever heard. I never heard of anyone being in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. I think they saw it maybe in the paper or something. But I was taking voice lessons first, and then they started doing the rock band jam, they call it. The place is called Summit Studios in Manchester, Connecticut. And that started everything.
Okay.
But it was so cool. So I'm playing guitar and singing, and then I heard Crazy Train one day. And I was just like, oh my God. Sorry, Avril, I want to do that.
I need to learn that.
Man, it took me a year to learn that solo because I had just started. And when I say learn, I could get through it.
But still, that's impressive to be even within a year to have you hadn't really played guitar much, right? At this point. Yeah,
thankfully I had like no real life once I started music. So it was like, all right, lock yourself in the bedroom. Let's go. And then
were you still doing gymnastics? Because I've seen videos of you like you were like upside down, like soloing. Like, where's that still? Were you still doing gymnastics at this point?
I think I was still doing gymnastics up for a while. And then like once my kid band started really working, it was kind of, okay, do you want to do gymnastics or
yeah.
I think I made the right choice.
I think so as well.
Yeah. So the first time I played Crazy Train out with my kid band, I was so nervous to play that solo. And then I did. And the audience was dead quiet. And I was like, oh my God, I know I missed like
did I shank this?
Several notes. Yeah. But then they started screaming and they're like, oh my God, a little girl played that solo. And I was like, oh, it's like that. It's like that. I mean, let's go. It was just over.
Wow. How old were you at this point?
I think I was probably like 14, maybe 13, 14.
13, 14.
Yeah.
And is that when it was over and you just were like, I want to be a guitar player? I mean, obviously you still sing and you're still a fantastic singer. Were you still like fronting-ish that band for a while?
I was always the front of the band. I remember like when you're younger, they always ask you what you want to be when you grow up. And you can say anything in elementary school and nobody cares. Yeah. But middle school through high school, they still ask you that. And every single time I said rock star, and then people would laugh. And I was like, just you wait.
That's cool. I'll show you.
And it never went away. So that's great.
Wow. So when like we were talking about earlier, that video of you playing Howl at the Moon or Bark at the Moon, the Aussie song when you're 15, you said that kind of changed everything for you. I mean, the video has an insane amount of plays on YouTube. Was that something like, tell me about that moment and like what happened with that?
My first YouTube video ever. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I just put that video up and I think probably Mr. Crowley too, because I was going through my Aussie phase.
Okay.
That also never left. But yeah, so I had these two videos and I had no following. I think I had like one follower. And then I remember some of my my frenemies in school saying, wow, 2 whole views. You've got some real fans there. And then this video just took off like wildfire and got over 1 million views. And it really started kickstarting my career. But since I had really just started playing lead, it was not the cleanest. And I was also one of the first female young guitarists on YouTube. And it wasn't as accepted then. So I got attacked.
Oh, like, really?
Daily. Oh my God. Yeah. I would literally have hundreds of comments every day telling me to quit, go back to the kitchen. It was crazy. So I'm just like, oh my God.
How did you get through that? Like being bullied at 15 like that?
I wrote songs.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So yeah, my songs were rather angry back then. But yeah, like, you know, it was definitely a battle. So within all of the craziness, I also got so much positivity and I started booking gigs and then getting a following from that. So it was definitely a double-edged sword that kind of kickstarted my career. And from there, I just started booking actual shows and was just continuing to grow and just trying to create new content.
Wow. How quickly did you said the video caught fire? I mean, after your peers were like, oh, 2 views, like how quickly were you able to come back and be like, oh yeah, look at it now, it has 1 million. What's your video at, like 4?
Oh,
like,
man,
how fast were you able
that.
to like throw it back in their face?
Oh man, I love that. Like a year later, they're like, oh, hey, Ariel, I remember the little girl playing Crazy Train in my living room. And I was like, yeah, I still remember you real well.
Oh, so now they're trying to be your friend.
Totally.
Of course, right?
You know, I'm totally cool with it. I'm just like, you can do whatever. I'm not actually coming over, but I'll be cool.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. So from that, I mean, the video goes nuts, but you're still doing that band. You said you got into like a cover band when you're 17 and couldn't really go into the clubs or play the bars. Like, so how did that happen?
That was amazing. They actually found me from my videos. Cause you know, at that point I would step in with other bands. My parents would bring me to other live shows and we would just step in with the band. And, you know, I got some new videos from that, put them up on YouTube. And yeah, people were like, hey, come play with us. So it kind of just kept going from there. And I was playing 3-hour shows like every weekend, sometimes Friday, sometimes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was a lot, but I call that like rock star training.
Sure. So you were doing that, and you just had to learn a bunch of songs, like 3 hours of the material is a lot.
Oh yeah. I still did it pretty quick back then. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like 75 songs you have to learn to just be prepared for like the bar cover gigs, because you're playing 3 sets like all night.
Wow.
So that was a good challenge. I just took a stab at it and was like working 24/7, and I managed to get the set down in like 2 weeks. They were really surprised, and they were like, oh, we have a sub singer for this show because we didn't know you'd be ready. And I was like, cool, I'll share the stage, but I'm totally ready.
Oh, so you were the singer also of the cover band?
Oh yeah. I was the lead guitarist. I played keyboards in the band sometimes on a few songs. I just did it all.
So this band finds you, and then you're like, yeah, I'll join, but I'm gonna just take over and be this is now my band. Thank you.
Totally. Wow. It's so funny. They actually hired me to be the singer. They're like, you can sing. We need a singer, but you're gonna play guitar too. And I was like, that's right.
yeah. And I'm gonna play you lead.
Yep, totally. And I will probably be in a split. You may have to help me up, but I'm pretty sure I got this.
Oh, wow. So you're doing gymnastics already at this point and playing.
Yeah.
You already had like the full live show nailed.
I did. I think I was just born crazy, and it made sense on stage.
Wow. So obviously people were going to these gigs to see you. I thought maybe you had joined an established-ish cover band as just like a guitar player.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I got to be the lead, and we had another a male singer, so we could do like all the songs. Right. And they were known for being a really fun party band, and then they have me. So like the combination was just so much fun for the audience, and we all just loved it so much.
That's so cool. That's so
yeah.
Cool. And then you moved to New York. Did you go to New York to go to college, or did you go just to
Yeah, surprisingly, no. I was actually, from my videos, they found me actually. I was signed to an all-girl glam rock band. It was like the first big signed project. We
Wow.
had like secret identities, kind of. It was like the female Kiss band because we had insane makeup. Like my face was pink sparkles. I had feather eyelashes on. My name in the band was Lexi.
Oh,
They
wow.
had different names for us. I had platinum blonde hair at the time, and they teased it like in a full-on faux hawk. It was insane. So
What was
that
this
was like,
band called, if you don't
it
mind
was
me?
actually called Sweet Child. It never quite took off. We
But is there
just
videos of this on YouTube? Because I want to see your
Yes, there
videos.
actually is. This band is how I met the other artist I had toured with, Nick West. She was in the band. So I think you can see one of our videos if you look up Nick West Back in Black, because Sweet Child, the band,
Okay.
covered that song and she was singing on that one. So I think she has that one up somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna look for it while we're chatting because I'm.
Oh yes. Get
Oh, I
ready for
think I
epic
found
music.
it.
Yes.
Oh, so was she the vocalist?
Yeah. Her and I both did lead vocals, and she was lead on that song.
Okay, that's cool. All right, I'll watch this later. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Uh,
fun.
okay, so they found you on YouTube. You moved to New York to join this band. Was it already a band, or was it like, hey, we found these people and we're gonna put together this like
Yeah.
like super group kind of cover band?
Yeah, it was totally a super group. We had a ton of originals, but to start off, we did two covers just to, try to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
They actually came out after the band had finished, because Nick was starting to take off with her own career,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, the management was kind of going in a different direction. So it was like a really good way to get into, New York City as, a brand new artist, meet some connections. And I always wanted to do my own stuff. So when it ended, we were all completely fine with it and starting to do our own things. But it was so cool. And having that makeup was really amazing on stage. I think I still wake up with glitter in my mouth sometimes from that,
Oh, I
but
can imagine.
totally
Oh, I'm
worth
watching it
it.
now. This is so cool. It's like neon. You got like the
Yeah.
neon vibe going on.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
I had to walk through the subway stations of New York like that sometimes. That was fun.
Really?
I was like, nothing to see here, people.
Did you have to do all the makeup and everything on your own?
Thankfully, no. We had
Okay.
like a watered down version that we could do ourselves, but for the big shoots, we had a full on makeup artist. I think the makeup artist from the Broadway show Wicked was the one who did that.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
crazy.
And would you do tell me about what shows were you guys doing? And you had originals. Were you writing all together or they kind of like hand you over
Yeah.
songs?
We had a little bit of everything. We actually never did a live show. We were just in the studio all the time, and then studio sessions, and then the
Oh.
band kind of went in a separate direction. But we had one live show booked, and everything kind of ended before that. So I was like, I'll do the show. I'll do it with my own
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
I was like, don't worry, we can fill the slot. We're good. So
So
yeah,
you played it. So you did the show yourself. Where was the show at?
it was at the Bitter End in New York City, which was one of
Whoa.
the places I always wanted to play since I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that's a big moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh, that was so much fun. So I did my own originals with a live band. It was so much fun.
Did you have a record out, or because I'm on your Spotify, you just have some newer songs, a couple new songs, but
Yeah,
did you have an album out prior under your name or?
I did, but I never had Spotify or anything else. I had physical CDs I would hand out.
Oh, cool. So you
Yeah,
just sell them
Spotify
out
knew.
as you played, like at the shows you'd play?
Yeah. I never really knew what I was doing. I didn't know about streaming at the time. So I just
Yeah.
really just wanted to perform live and, post guitar solo videos because that's what did really well. And then,
Uh-huh.
later on, I learned, no, if you want to be a solo artist, you have to have your own music out there for people to hear. Everything
Right.
else is just an added bonus. So
Okay.
luckily,
So
we're there now.
yeah, well, when did that start? When did you stop didn't you say you moved to LA as a touring guitar player?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so how do you get from New York to LA and what made you
I was
choose?
actually starting to get a lot of gigs in LA and was flying back and forth. So
gigs as a solo artist or gigs to
no, as a hired guitarist. I figured it'd be a really great way to learn, all about touring and everything.
Right.
And it definitely was.
So what was the first one you got, and like how did that happen?
It was amazing. So I actually went to NAMM in LA with my glam rock band.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. I started meeting all these amazing, really cool people in LA, and they would just take me into their studios. We would jam, play live, and they would produce things. And I was like, okay, I need to be in LA. But the first band I toured with in LA was actually Nick West, who I was in the glam rock band with her stuff. So we did a world tour. From there, I toured in Paradise Kitty, which is an all-girl Guns N' Roses tribute. I still play with them sometimes.
Wow.
And a Michael Jackson experience. So I was on the road like 24/7 with multiple bands as the guitarist. And I loved touring, but it was not my own stuff yet. So it took, let's see, I think 3 years ago, I met a songwriter. He's actually in Nashville. He found me just online and was working as a songwriter for this one company that actually ended up signing me. So I'm signed in Nashville right now, but I do everything from LA. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we just started recording all these original songs and like coming up with a plan to just get me out there as a solo artist, which is what I've always wanted. And here we are.
Wow. So Nick West is the first band that you played in as a touring guitar player.
Yeah, that was fun. And she would let me sing Sweet Child of Mine. And then I would just back her up on guitar. She is amazing. And both of us would be doing the splits because we're wild.
Oh, rad. So you've always continued to do the gymnastics, but it was all just as fun, like never.
Yeah. I'm all about putting on a show. The more wild and crazy, the better. I just love seeing the audience reactions to when you do a trick with a guitar. So they would always love the splits. So then I was like, cool, I'll add a back bend. And they loved that. So I would always just try to be completely over the top, headbanging in a split. I discovered aerial gymnastics a couple years ago.
Oh, so that's new.
Yeah, I actually went to a circus workout class. I was like, ooh, this sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Okay.
And they had the aerial equipment. So I hung upside down and was like, wow, I'm really good at this. It's just like gymnastics. Now, how can I add my guitar? I actually had a waist strap that, it's supposed to keep the guitar off your shoulders to just keep your shoulders healthy. So I did the complete opposite and was like, okay, how can I do dangerous stunts with this?
Right.
And it worked. The guitar didn't hit me in the head. I could be upside down and a monster was created.
Oh my gosh. And then were you doing did you implement that into your live show then? And how would you even do that?
I did. I first started out just doing little guitar riffs upside down and taking pictures. And then I was scouted by the Gong Show. They're like, can you perform a whole routine of just gymnastics guitar? And I'm like, sure. And then,
really? The Gong? What?
Oh, yeah.
That was, who hosted that? Wasn't that
Mike Myers?
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So you were on that show.
I was. I tried really hard not to quote Austin Powers to him. I succeeded, but it was
that'd be hard. Yeah, that would be hard. Okay,
yeah,
so what year were you on that?
When was it? I'm terrible with years. I want to say maybe 2018. Oh, 2018, 2019.
Yeah. So what they contacted you? They found you online?
Yeah, they just found I think the pictures of me doing aerial, and were like, "Can you perform on the show?" And I was like, "Sure, no problem." And then I realized, oh, a whole minute-long routine of just nothing but a solo and gymnastics is really hard.
Yeah.
But I did it. So now my goal after doing that is to just have a little bit of it peppered into my show here and there, like, sing the song like a normal human being on the ground, do this guitar solo, and then I would love to do some aerial as a little finale.
Okay.
That's my goal.
That's the goal. Okay. From that show, did that help you out as far as getting eyes on you? Or how did you get the deal with the Nashville company?
They actually were working with me before just as a songwriter.
Oh, okay.
And they liked working with me, and then they formed a label. So it was just like, you want to be an artist on the label? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Of course. So Elastic was the first song we put out, and I feel like that song and that music video that we did was what really kickstarted me as like a solo artist. And after that, I'll still play with other people, but I love doing my own stuff too.
Okay. So and that record came out what, a few months ago or last year, right?
Yeah,
Not that long
song
ago.
came out in November, last November. And
Okay.
that video was just so much fun. My guinea pig.
That's the one where are you on like the motorcycle and
yes.
Is that the video? Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. How did you get that's rad. Was that all shot like within like this whole pandemic? I mean, that must have been
it was. We made the video with 3 of us. Crazy.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Well, 3 people on the crew and then me. It was pretty amazing how that all came together. And that desert scene on the motorcycle, it was insane. So I was on the back of the motorcycle. I had in-ear monitors so I could hear, and then we'd start riding and I would stand up when I was ready and give a little thumbs up. We had a Sprinter van driving alongside the motorcycle with the camera sticking out the side door. And that's how we got those shots. How wild is that? And it was at like 5 in the morning too.
That must have been scary. Was it scary to stand up? God. I mean, you said you're pretty, you're daredevil, but like
one thing I was always afraid of was riding on motorcycles. I remember the first time I got into LA, my friend picked me up to bring me somewhere else, and I thought he had a car, but it was a motorcycle. I was like clinging to him for dear life.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm pretty sure the whole thing that got me through that motorcycle, because he was weaving through traffic too, of course. I was just like, okay, what am I going to do in the next life after I die on this motorcycle?
Right.
So I was kind of like, never again. And then this, the director, Hunter McCann, was just like, oh, how awesome would it be? Like, you already do the aerial. What if you stand up on the back of a motorcycle with your guitar? And I was just like, oh my God, I'm terrified of that. But there's a guitar involved. I'm in.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So then you obviously did it. That still must have been terrifying.
Oh yeah, we were speeding at a whole like 4 miles per hour.
Oh, so you're going slow. That was my next question. How fast were you going? But slow?
Yeah, we actually went faster after that, but not too fast. I was scared the first time to do it, but then after that, I was kind of like, oh, this is nothing. I'm not even upside down.
Yeah. Well, I could imagine that you couldn't be going too slow or the bike would tip. So there's like probably a fine line of like how fast you could go without.
Yeah. We found a good happy medium. And if like there was a bumpy area, we'd just like weave away and the van would follow us.
That's
so it was so cool. There's actually a parachuter up above us that day, probably looking down saying, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't a part of the shoot. He was just there.
No. It's not every day you see a girl in the desert on the back of a motorcycle with a guitar being filmed out of a Sprinter van.
Right. Where were you guys at? Somewhere in the desert off of LA? Because that shot of you like
it was just on some playa a couple hours away from LA. Oh, El Mirage.
Okay, it's a beautiful scene when you're driving out and just like the cracked sand and like how it looks is just really cool.
They do a lot of motorcycle races there, so it was kind of perfect.
Oh, okay. So that's cool.
So fun.
Where were you when this whole virus hit?
I was actually on tour. My friends had started, I was playing with the Michael Jackson tribute, actually. My friends had started losing a lot of their shows, but we still had all of ours. And I was just like, oh, maybe it's a coincidence, because you don't realize something's going on yet until it happens to you.
Right.
And we were actually at sound check to do our show. And right at sound check, they're like, guys, we have to cancel the show. You guys will still get paid because you flew all the way out here. We were in Florida. Whoa. And it was so crazy. And then that night, we're all sitting in our hotel room saying, what is going on? And then it was email after email after email. All of my shows, I was literally booked for almost a year out. All of them canceled. And we're all just sitting there having a mental breakdown. So some of the dancers started crying, saying, I'm having a breakdown. And I was still okay at that moment. It was the next day that mine happened, when like all the shows for a year went away. I got home and was like, what do I do? My whole entire life is on tour.
Right. Your
But
whole livelihood. What did you, what did you do?
actually, the pandemic was definitely a blessing in disguise, just because I stayed home literally the whole time. I actually did the college thing online and just went to MI, Musicians Institute, and just learned more about guitar while I had time. But
what can you possibly learn about guitar? I mean, you're already so good.
Oh, thank you. I'm one of these overachievers where I'm just like, obviously. I didn't go to college. I'm not good enough. So I was like, all right, I'm going to school. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Some music theory, because I learn everything by ear. Okay. So they definitely challenged me. It was great. But I mainly took that time to just learn all I could about my craft, take voice lessons, and also just develop myself as a solo artist. Because Elastic had just come out. We started doing the music video, and it was really that music video that just springboarded it. Because when I saw myself on screen, I was like, oh my God, my 8-year-old rock star dreams are coming true.
Sure. You know, you have a video, like big stuff.
I went into turbo mode during the pandemic and have daily lists. What can I do to promote my solo career today? So I just took that time to just really get into the mindset of being a solo artist and do everything I could. And like I said, I love playing with other people, and I definitely will for the certain bands. But in addition, I'm always going to be a solo artist now.
Cool. And you wrote, and you have 3 songs out. Diamonds or Coal is the most recent.
Yeah, that's my new one. That one came out on Friday. Similar vibe to Elastic, you know, about a back and forth relationship. Are we gonna make it? Are we diamonds, or are we gonna fail and be a hot mess like Coal? Sure. That song's really fun because I love the guitar solo. It has a little bit of a No Doubt feel, but I'm so excited to just be putting out original music and just showcasing myself as a solo artist, because I can do all of these things, but I was always known as the guitarist or the guitar girl.
Guitar player, right. So now you're obviously a solo artist, you got some songs out. What's having all those shows canceled for a year plus out, was that all as a guitar player in various bands?
Yeah, actually all of them were as a guitarist. Like I would sing backgrounds and some of them, that's not the same.
Yeah, sure.
So as upset as I was, because that was really hard, because, you know, it's like, as a musician, what do you do? Every single piece of work went away. So yeah, like I said, it was definitely a blessing, because it got me into the mindset of a solo artist and made me put all of my energy into that, which was actually really good.
And so now you're just going to go full force as a solo artist. Do you have any, are you going to still do the other gigs, or not so much?
I will. I'm always down to do gigs that inspire me. Like I love getting gigs in other genres, because I'm just the music nerd who wants to be thrown into it and learn everything I can. So I have an R&B gig booked. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'll do funk stuff, and you know, I will always keep up with some of my rock songs or my rock gigs. So I'll play with anybody who inspires me, and just if I love the music and vibe, I'll definitely do it. But I'm never gonna stop doing the solo artist thing. And if I do go on tour with other people, I will continue to work on my music, probably from my hotel rooms.
Sure. Do you have are you going to put a record out, or are you going to just put out singles? Because I mean, right now it's with the way the music industry is, you don't really need to put out a full album anymore, right?
Yeah. So we have enough to put out a full record, but it seems to be a singles game these days. You want each song to get enough attention. And it's like, for the record today, it's not like you have B-sides anymore.
Right. There's no like album cuts, right? They all have to be bangers.
Exactly. So it's a lot more work to get the full record, but you want each song to get a little bit of love.
Sure. So what's the plan? Do you have shows coming up? I mean, stuff's opening up now, right?
Yeah. So I just performed with a live band for the first time with my own stuff a couple weeks ago. I've done a couple other shows.
What was that like?
Oh my God. My face hurt from smiling so hard that entire time.
I love that.
It was one of those moments where all of the work I put into my craft in the pandemic just shined. And I even shocked myself. Like my voice surprised me live. It was so much stronger than I had ever remembered. My guitar solos were spot on. And my performance was so wild and crazy because, you know, when you lock up the beast for a year, they go crazy when you let them out.
So that was the first show you had back too, I'm sure. What?
Yeah, it was actually a promo video just to send to different booking agents because Mama wants to be on tour. Yeah.
So did you play in front of people then, obviously?
We had a little audience just like there, and it was like a camera crew. So, you know, having the cameras there, we were all just performing hard, and man, it felt so good. It was kind of like, this is what I need to do, and this is what I'm supposed to be.
Sure.
So it's going to be that plus anything new that inspires me.
I love that. I can't wait to see it, and hopefully you'll be touring out here to Nashville since your label's here.
Yes. Right? Oh, I love Nashville. Soon.
Awesome. Well, Ariel, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I have one more question. If you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Absolutely. So the one thing I can tell you is just keep going. Like, don't let negative comments, negative anything keep you down, because you will always get them. And in that, you also have people that fully support you. There's no such thing as a bad song. Anything you write is just, you know, showing you where you are now, and you can listen back to it later and be like, wow, I'm so much better. So just keep doing it. You know, put yourself out there, reach out to everyone, send random strangers your video, like literally make a list of how you can keep going to just stay organized and keep inspiring yourself. Like the only failure you can do is quitting, really.